With 2025 now in the rearview mirror, and the reminiscent of the year that has now passed come to an end, I thought it would be interesting to launch this channel with a deep dive into arguably the worst year in human history. What if I told you there was a year so bad that the sun barely shone? Crops failed across continents and entire civilizations were pushed to the very brink. No, it's not 2020 with the COVID-19 pandemic, nor is it 1346 when the Black Death caused the bacterium Yersinia pestis to haunt cities, villages and towns. Not even close. Many historians believe the worst year to be alive was 536 Anno Domini, a year so dark, so cold and so destructive that people at the time thought the world was ending. So what actually happened, and why was this single year so devastating? 536 wasn't famous when it happened. There were no newspapers, no global communication, and no history books being written in real time. But modern scientists, historians and archaeologists have pieced together the evidence, and it paints a truly terrifying picture. Across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, people recorded the same strange event. The sun dimmed. Not for a day, not for a week, but for over a year. Historical records from the time describe the sun as giving off light without brightness, almost like a permanent eclipse. Days looked grey and hazy, summers felt cold, winters were much harsher than usual. Now, today, we know why this happened. Scientists believe a massive volcanic eruption, or possibly several, sent enormous amounts of ash and dust into the atmosphere. This ash blocked sunlight across much of the planet. Tree rings from this period showed extremely slow growth, confirming that temperatures dropped worldwide. Ice cores also revealed huge spikes in volcanic material. To put it in simple terms, the planet's thermostat suddenly broke. With less sunlight and colder temperatures, crops couldn't grow. Harvests failed across Europe, China, and parts of the Middle East. Food shortages became common. Communities that relied on farming suddenly had nothing to eat. In China, summer snowfall was recorded, something almost unheard of. In Ireland, historical records mention years of famine. In Scandinavia, entire villages appear to have been abandoned. For most people alive in 536, survival became the main goal. The disaster didn't stop with hunger. Malnutrition weakened populations, making them more vulnerable to disease. Just a few years later, a massive outbreak known as the Justinianic plague spread through the Byzantine Empire and beyond. While the plague didn't begin in 536, the weakened state of society made it far worse. Now trade collapsed, cities shrank, and empires struggled to maintain control. Some historians believe this period helped accelerate the fall of ancient civilizations and reshape the course of European and Middle Eastern history. In other words, 536 wasn't just a bad year, it changed the future. Now, imagine living in a world where the sun barely shines, summers feel like winter, food is disappearing, and no one knows why. There was no science to explain volcanoes or climate shifts. To many people, this felt like a sign of divine punishment or the end of time itself. And honestly, from their perspective, that fear made sense. History has seen wars and pandemics and disasters on massive scales. But what makes 536 unique is that almost everyone was affected, regardless of where they lived. It was global, it was sudden, and it made everyday life nearly impossible. So while the worst year in history can be debated, 536 stands out as one of humanity's darkest chapters, a reminder of how fragile civilization can truly be. Now, if you enjoyed this deep dive into history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know what historical event you want covered next. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you all very soon.